see this face? It ain't no time to waste. Yeah, sure. Back again with another episode of Do We Hear Now podcast, episode number 41. I'm your host, as y'all know, because most of y'all probably been here. But if this is your first time, I am your host, aka MarioTheCameraMan, so surreal, whatever you like to comment on, you like, comment, and subscribe. And let's get right into the thing. Now, we slated for a longer episode today. It's probably going to match what we did last week, but it was a goodie as well. So stick with me. I'm going to give y'all everything y'all want or not, what I think y'all might want. So just bear with me. Now, y'all know I like to start this off. Usually I like to do a little weekend. Hold on. Let me get the, hold on. Mike, a little, yeah. I like to do a little week/weekend recap. But usually with that, I like to focus on stuff that I got going on at work. Like I said, we are slated for a longer podcast today. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that. But what I will say is I'm recording this on a Tuesday. And like I told you guys, certain kids that I deal with, got to take them to counseling. Now, I'm picking them up. One of the boys I was telling y'all about, ADHD, like real hyperactive. He kind of reminds me of me when I was younger, right? But we're driving back. He just always got like a lot of questions. So with my company that I work for, you're not always slated to drive the same vehicle every time, just depending on how many kids you have, the type of kids you have. It might change. So I'm driving back, and the kid used to ask me, why you different than this one, why you different than this one, yada, yada, yada. He thinks this is actually my personal vehicle. It's not. It's a company van, right? So he get to talking like, yeah, yada, 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 broke. Now, for a second, I had to stop myself because I was going to say something to him, but at the end of the day, this is the same kid. When he get in the van, when he get off the van, I got to make sure he got his shoes on the right feet. So I didn't give him no smoke at all. But that's what we're going to talk about as far as the work week goes. But one thing I will tag on as far as the work week goes, with me driving a lot, you definitely see a lot of interesting things. Let me just put it like that. Doesn't matter if it's, people not knowing how to drive, just what you see on the street, just whatever. So I'm coming back from, picking up one of the kids. I'm driving back to the station. I'm getting ready to get off. Now I'm driving and I see this, it's a lost dog sign, right? Now, what was interesting about this lost dog sign is when you see a lost dog sign, what do you expect to see? A lost dog on the picture, right? I see this lost dog sign and it's got a picture of the owner and the dog. Now, I'm contemplating, right? The owner looked good as hell. I ain't gonna lie. So I'm like, shh. But it was just odd because usually they don't have the owner in the picture with the lost dog, right? So I'm getting to think, I'm like, man, I ain't gonna lie, she was so fun. I was thinking about just going to the kennel and getting a dog that looked just like that dog, just so, I have some way to, chop it up with her, kick game with her. No, I'm just talking. But let's really get into it. I don't like leaving y'all out to dry, you know what I mean? And I don't like boring y'all with some of the stuff I got going on at work. But definitely just wanted to talk on that. But before we get into obviously the other things, obviously it was Mother's Day, so obviously we're going to talk about Mother's Day and how I spent my Mother's Day. But before we get into that, that's one thing I just noticed about with doing the podcast. I'm not that great at promoting it. Like I post it like on my IG, I might post it on my Twitter, Facebook, stuff like that. But as far as like really reaching out to people, to getting people to like help promote my podcast, I haven't been doing that. But I was on Facebook and, like a lot of you guys probably know, there's actually groups on Facebook for just about everything. So I just so happened to come across this podcast group, and I actually joined a bunch of them just so I can have a way to post my links in there when I actually drop my podcast. But it's actually cool because it's really like, I don't know, just the podcast community is real special. Now, a lot of people, if you don't do podcasts, you might not necessarily know what I'm talking about, but it's very few people that do podcasts, but there's also a lot of people that do podcasts, if that makes sense, right? Now, in this group, it's really dope because, like I said, everybody is sharing their experience. Everybody's posting their podcast. They ask for ideas and stuff like that. Just there's a lot of nervousness going on for some people who haven't started the podcast, which is dope to see because, like, even for me, it's like I'm not a vet, but I do got some episodes put in. Obviously, you guys know, like I said, we're on episode 41, so I do have a little bit an experience. I don't want to call myself a veteran yet. Maybe when we hit the 1 year mark, get those posters on the wall like I was talking about. I didn't forget about y'all. Like I said, it's either going to be in December or I might move, so it might be pushed back. But don't worry, we working on it. Point I was trying to make, it was cool to see the people how they were just starting off, like just doing like their first podcast, stuff like that. And the fact that I can even get somebody like some advice, it's kind of cool. Because like I don't have, like I was saying, a lot of people do podcasts, but it's not that many people are doing podcasts that are really close to your vicinity. Like I'm just trying to think in the city of Cleveland how many podcasts there are. I mean, I think there's a couple, but I don't think there. I mean, off the top of my head, there's not many notable podcasts. And watch somebody who got a podcast could even be like, start, trying to and I don't want to, I can't swear too early into the video, but running them off about what I got going on. There's no hate, we're all in this together. We're all doing podcasts, just trying to grow and just trying to make something out of this. I don't think everybody's on this trying to, get a million subscribers and, make six figures off this. Some people are just doing it because they truly have a passion for doing it. But I say all that to say it's just dope I was able to find a Facebook group just so just knowing that there are people. Ooh, excuse me. That's what's wrong. I ain't drinking my water. Just knowing that there's other people that are going through the same things that I'm going through, because I don't necessarily always have somebody to talk to. But enough of that. Let's get into the meat and the potatoes. Now, we just passed Mother's Day. Obviously, it's a very busy day probably for most people, as it was a busy day for me as well. Now, not only was it Mother's Day, but as well it was my niece's barbecue that she was having at her place, as well as my niece's birthday. Now, we're going to get into that, but before I get into that, I want to talk a little bit more about Mother's Day, because there are a lot of women in my life that have played significant roles in my life. So when Mother's Days come, I do my best to try to reach out and just let them know I appreciate them, right? I get a call from my sisters about 9 o'clock, and she was like, "Oh, I'm kind of mad at you. You didn't wish me a happy Mother's Day." Bianca, I'm sorry, I just forgot. I was wishing so many people happy Mother's Day that I keep forgetting. And like I was talking about last week, is new mothers, is people that are pregnant, about to have a baby. Do you wish them a Mother's Day? And then I got nieces that are fairly new to having babies, about 2 months. And I didn't even wish. No, I think I did eventually. Brittany, if I didn't wish you happy Mother's Day to you and Kason. Shout out to y'all. But like I said, it was a busy day. Especially there's two significant, like I say, mothers that play a part in my life. Obviously, my actual mother who gave birth to me, and then my second family, who you guys probably heard me talk about when I referred to like my little sister and stuff like that. That's a family as well. So my mom and my boyfriend. Whoa, pause, no diddy. But my mom and her husband, they actually went to celebrate in Columbus for my stepby's birthday. So as far as the gift that I got my mom, she wouldn't be able to get them until later. But I got the same thing that I got, for both my moms. Something simple. Women are super simple to get stuff for. They like the little cute makeshift stuff. So what I did, classic, wine. I'm drawing a blank. I got wine, I got candles, and I got flowers. Right? Nice, simple. Nothing too crazy. Little message on the little gift bag. Let them know how much I appreciate them, and call it a day. So before I head out to my niece's birthday party, now keep in mind they say in Massillon. If you live in Cleveland, you know how far Massillon is. That's past Akron, right? But I always try to make it a point whenever my nieces, I don't even want to say just my niece, but just my nieces, nephews, or anybody in my family has anything, I try to make it a point to go see them. Especially since my nieces are just a tad bit younger than me. It's like, the youngest one, she just turned 17, and then the other ones, are a little bit closer to my age. But my niece Izzy, she has her own spot, doing it up, doing her thing, and she decided to have people over. So before I made my way down to Massillon, I stopped in Royalton, saw my second family, gave the gifts, chop it up, boom, I'm out of there. Now I'm heading to Massillon. Now, it's an hour away, right? Now, my niece, she told me the party was from 3 to 4. Now, keep in mind, in my family, if you get a time slot for when something starts, you always show up just a little bit later, right? So I don't start heading there till about 3:45 as is, right? Because I'm known, it's going to be late. People not going to be showing up. Food's probably not going to be done. I don't know this to be a fact, but I'm just assuming just how my family works. Because obviously, CPT is, what's the word I'm looking for? It's contagious. It might rub off on you. If you're around enough black people, you might just catch a case of CPT, right? And that's exactly what happened. Pulled up about 4:30, 4:45. I get there, probably the last person to actually show up as far as my nephews and my nieces and my brothers, and all of them show up. I show up as I expected. Everybody was already there, but the food wasn't done. Now, I don't want to give my niece too much flack, right? Because she's got her own place. She's throwing a little cookout, and as well as celebrating her sister's birthday as well. So I'm not gonna give her too much flack. But she had the food, she had the trunk, she had the grill, she had all the essentials that you need to have a good cookout slash birthday party. Missing one thing: the food not being cooked. So when I expect to get to events, like I like to pull up, and maybe the food is just getting done. You get it right off the grill, and you good. Man, I got there. We waited probably about an hour and a half for the food, right? Now, keep in mind, my niece didn't mention anybody cooking. She didn't volunteer anybody to start cooking. So when we get there, I'm chilling. You know what I mean? Got my essentials to have a good time for a cookout. All she told me that I needed was some bag and a lawn chair. I got 50% of that in the car already, so I'm good. I don't have to do any extra stops or anything like that. We good. So pull up, we just chilling, enjoying the essentials. Sitting there about a half hour. Black people, we don't really wait too much time when it comes to like events, stuff like that. Even though if you throw your own, you're gonna be late as well. But your guests gonna be acting funny, like, man, the food not ready, We trying to figure it out, right? Now, everybody's kind of talking, sitting around, and nobody's addressing the elephant in the room about the grilling. So it takes about 20, 30 minutes before it starts figuring out, like, yo, what's going on the grill? We start whispering a little bit, like, yo, y'all know what they cook? They start cooking. None of that. We don't know what's going on, right? So eventually, well, I won't say eventually, but my niece had this plan that by default her boyfriend Ben was going to be grilling. Now I don't think Ben knew this, but he was going to find out when he got there. Now obviously it's Mother's Day for everybody, so Ben has his mother to attend to as well on Mother's Day. Now my niece, she wanted Ben to be there. Obviously they're a little early, so we wouldn't be waiting when the food got there, but it is what it is. So Ben gets there. But before we get to that part, before Ben gets there, it's like, okay, yo, everybody, okay, we gonna load the charcoal, we gonna grab the grill, we gonna set up the spot, we gonna get it figured out. So get the grill going, get the charcoal going, whatever. My niece can't light it, so I can do that. I wasn't gonna grill, so to say, but I can help out. She's having trouble lighting the grill. Boom, niece, don't worry about it. I got you, and that's about all I got as far as participating in this whole event. Light the grill, we good. I light the grill. Literally about 5 minutes later, her boyfriend Ben walks in. Perfect time. My job is done. But like I said, I don't think Ben knew he was supposed to be barbecuing, right? So, my bad, y'all. I don't think Ben knew he was supposed to be barbecuing. So it's kind of a surprise to him. He gets there. He kind of wants to say hi to his family, chill out. As soon as he walks in, easy get on them. Yo, gotta get on the grill. Get on the grill. So they kind of going. I don't want to say they kind of going back and forth, but Ben just got there, so I don't fault him at all. He's trying to chill. He literally just got there. You're already trying to put in the work. Let him say what's up, and then, ask. I feel like she should have asked him before he even got there, but whatever. So eventually, Ben gets on the grill. Another Ben and Chitty was both on the grill. Now Chitty is my niece Brittany's boyfriend, the one that just had a baby together. So they were both collectively on the grill, which is dope. If it would have came to it, I would have grilled if I absolutely had to, because as far as me when it comes to cooking, I don't really do dinner. I do like simple stuff at dinner, like chicken, rice, greens, stuff like that, small stuff. But for me, I get busy on the breakfast side and on the grill. That's my two. I get busy, but I'm not expecting to have to grill. If I was thinking I had to grill, I would have showed up just a little bit early, just so I can press when people get there, they can at least have something to munch on. A glizzy, a brat, something. But whatever, they figured out. They started grilling. Now, all in all, it was definitely a good time. Summer is here. We outside grilling, so it was a good vibe. All the family was there. I got all my nieces there. I got all my nephews there. I got my brother and his girl there. I got it's a confusing situation. I guess it would be like my ex sister-in-law, but they never got married, so it's like my ex sister. But she's still family. I'm not gonna act funny like that's not family, because that is family, because that is where my nieces and nephews come from, right? Now, everybody's there. Keep in mind, it's, family event. Everybody is booed up, right? My niece Zoe, her boyfriend Zach is there. My niece Brittany, her boyfriend Chid is there. Izzy, Ben's there. And then I got my other niece Brianna, and then her girlfriend's there. Now and then my sister, ex-sister-in-law, whatever, and her husband are there. And then my brother, and then his soon-to-be wife is there as well. Now the only two people there without no dates is me and then my nephew Austin. Now, I didn't really think about it until I started this. Like everybody was like really booed up, you know what I mean? But I didn't feel no type of way until they start asking me like when I'm gonna start bringing somebody around. Like I'm just gonna bring somebody random around to meet y'all. Now with me, okay, you can meet like a girl I'm messing with, right? Situation, whatever the case may be. She can meet my mom. That's not really a big deal, you know what I mean? Because my mom probably not gonna remember her name anyways, you know what I mean? So it's really not a big deal. People make it seem like, oh, like you bring somebody home to your mom, like it's special. Like my mom kind of know how I give it up, you know what I mean? You see her like out and like you ain't gotta. You say her name wrong, I'm not even gonna correct you because it's really not a big deal because she might not be here that long, right? But my family, it's only like I've only dealt with like two girls that really like actually met my family, and like when you actually meet my family, like like we actually like officially like we locked in, But I don't feel any pressure to bring just a girl around just because everybody in my family got a girl around, and seeing how the party went, most of the couples that was there, they end up getting to little tiffs anyways with their couples anyways. And I might be partially blamed for that because as a single person there, I'm just trying to see, how the relationship is really going. So like we playing out scenarios, they telling stories about stuff, and I just ask like, yo, Brittany, how do you feel about, Brian doing that? Like, Chitty, how do you feel about Brittany doing that? I'm not really trying to stir the pot. I'm just trying to, get some answers, see how everything's really going. Because you ask how they been, everybody good, anybody got nothing to say ever. So, and it's a family. So, it might get a little messy sometimes, but, that's family, you know what I mean? Sometimes it irritate the hell out of you, but you love the hell out of them, you can't live without them, you know what I mean? So, it was definitely a scenario like that. But, all in all, it was definitely fun. And my niece, Bree, who is actually, the birthday party was there for, she just turned 17, so she's at that age where it's like, she really don't want to be bothered by nobody but like her girlfriend and her friend, right? Which is whatever. We're going to get to that later in the story. But all in all, it's so nice just to have all my family there. That's the first time we all pretty much been together. Ooh, and my niece Paige wasn't there. I think that's the only one from that side that wasn't there. But for the most part, everybody was there, which is dope because it's an hour away for most of us. My brother drove almost 2 hours just to go there. But that's what family does. We come together when it's time. We got little celebrations and stuff like that. And it's a cookout. Black people, we definitely pulling up for the cookout for sure. But I say all that to say, I don't care about bringing no date to no family events, none of that. If y'all gonna be asking or waiting for me to bring a woman, y'all probably gonna be waiting for a while because I'm really not focused on that. And any situations that I do have, and I'm just having relations with, I'm not about to bring her around the family for what? It's not even that. It's like it's a cool little vibe, but it's like I'm not just gonna be like shipped together with anybody just because, you know what I mean? But moving on. Now, barbecuing, the essentials, people are drinking a little bit. I don't really drink like that. Y'all notice I occasionally would drink. I don't really like drink like that because when I drink, I get a little bit too loose. I don't like being like that, right? But got the cornhole boards out, right? It's summertime vibes. You can't have a cookout in the grill going without some cornhole board, can jam, or football. You just got to have the essentials, right? Now, nobody's really playing cornhole, right? Now, me, I like to play cornhole. I don't think I'm like great at cornhole. If you had to rate me on a like 1 to 10 as far as cornhole, I would humbly say like I'm a 9. Like humbly speaking, I'm not the best. I'm not like I can go pro or anything like that. But like maybe if I spend a little time, like maybe I can make some shake, But whatever. There's a couple people they're playing one-on-one. It's my sister wife's husband, and then my niece's boyfriend are playing as well. Boom. We trying to find people to play. Now, this is actually really funny because we trying to find teams. At this point, I'm just like, man, whatever. It's the two dudes, they was talking to each other, like talking trash about how they would beat each other. So, okay, that's one team. Obviously, they'll play against each other. I'll take one of them, and then Ben, will take the other one because he's the other one playing. So finally get Ben to come over to play corn, right? Finally got a free hand. He's not grilling. I ain't got my niece bossing him around all the time. He finally got some free time, right? So we gonna play cornhole. Now, I was under the assumption I was gonna play with them so they can get their little riff off, and then, me and Ben just be bystanders on the other team, not really have a dog in the fight. So we get to go over the game or not the rules, but figure out the team. Ben finds out he's not on my team. He's like, I'm not on Mario's team. But I was like, man, I can't leave my dog Ben. I rock with Ben. So I was like, I'm gonna play with Ben, because even as far as me and Ben go, like, Ben really is a cool dude. And last time we played anything together, we played Cup On, and we was pretty much just run the table. So Ben, if you're watching this, for all games at family event, you don't need no partner. I'm your partner for whatever. I don't care if it's badminton, soccer, whatever. We together. I know you and Izzy like, okay, whatever. You get the point. So we get to playing. First game, whoo, spanked that ass. I don't even remember what the score, but I don't think the score justified how really close the game actually was, because, at a point in time, I think we were down. Yeah, no, I think we were down 7-0, and then we end up getting like 19-7, whatever the case may be. Win that game. Now, tell me if y'all ever heard this before about cornhole. Now, have you ever played, if you're playing somebody, and then after the game, you guys run it back, you guys switch sides and switch bags? I'm waiting to hear, because I think that was like on some cheating stuff, because, first of all, this is the losers telling us what we got to do. We the winners, we shouldn't even have to move at all. Anytime I've ever played cornhole and you run the boards, I'm not switching sides. Like, maybe me and my partner be like, hey, how you feeling on that side? You good? You want to switch sides? All right, cool, but we're not going to switch sides and switch bags. So the second game, we lost. That's what I'm saying. They was cheating, right? Because you're not supposed to do that. Now, I'm used to the certain bags we got. I'm throwing them a certain way. It's red. It's my favorite color. I'm rocking with it. Now we got these weak-ass blue bags we playing with, and I just can't find my rhythm. And then on top of that, I got to switch sides on top of that. Whatever. Game was somewhat close. They ended up winning. Whatever. Now, they started feeling themselves like, yeah. All right. Now, I'm not like really type, like, I'm competitive as it is. You feel me? So I'm like, all right, man, next thing, like, we got to go crazy, right? Sure enough, we did end up beating them. Ben would say that he carried me in the first game, but I happen to remember differently. But at the same time, we on the same team, Ben. Why it matter if you did better the first game or I did better the second game? I think it's a collective win. I don't think you was carrying me the first game. That's all I'm gonna say. But second game, you admitted I was definitely carried, and I hit the last back to get 21. I'm playing Zoe's boyfriend, Zach. He was decent, but like he wasn't like, come on. Like I said, I'm humbly a 9 out of 10. I'm not that good at cornhole, but like I'm a 9 out of 10. Like, do what you want with that information. Ended up beating them. But like I said, all in all, it was good. It got a little more competitive than I actually thought it was. Probably just a fault of mine, you know what I mean? But like I said, it's all good fun. Everybody's family here, so it's really not that serious, right? But after we get done doing cornhole, it's starting to get late. I'm trying to get ready to go home. I still got an hour drive. Boom, now it's time to cut the cake for, Bree Bree's birthday. Now, cut the cake, get to singing, happy birthday, all that good stuff, right? Now, it's my niece, right? Like to have pictures of, like I said, she's not taking pictures, her girlfriend's not taking pictures. So I was like, okay, there's other people that are taking videos, stuff like that. But, obviously I take the video and then I want to get a picture. Now, like I said, she's at that stage. She only want to be bothered with her girlfriends and her friends. So, like, she's looking at me like I'm old. Keep in mind, she just turned 17. I'm 27. It's not that big of an age gap. You feel me? But I'm trying to take pictures. She acting like, she's like, no, I'm not trying to take pictures. I had to tell her, like, yo, I drove an hour out here for your birthday party. You're going to stand there and take these pictures. And sure enough, she did. But my whole thing was, if, you want to be unphotogenic, you want to take a bad picture, that's fine. Because next year on your birthday, if that's the only picture you gave me, that's the picture I'm posting. So I'm glad she was able to get with the program and was able to get some pictures taken of her. But yeah, all in all, it was definitely a good time. Everybody been talking about they feel like this 2016 summer vibes. I mean, hopefully so. It's definitely off to a good start for sure. And I think what would help make that like the 2016 vibes, cookouts. For me, it's gotta be some type of grilling going on. If not every weekend, every other weekend, and I'll consider it a success. And like I said, my niece got her own place now, so maybe that will be a landing spot. She always come over to Gigi's house. We can barbecue here. But that is how I spent my Mother's Day slash niece's birthday party. Um, yeah. Who, usually I don't go too long when we start off on the first half of the podcast, but that's where we're at right now. I want to take a commercial break, and then we're going to go to the other side, talk a little bit about some more mainstream stuff, and then I'm gonna get you guys out of here. Like I said, I lied. I don't think we'll be here for an hour, but just stick with me. I don't know if y'all like it longer or shorter or whatever, but no Diddy. I'll see you on the other side. Well, hello there, and welcome to the other side. Now, let's get into it now that we've wrapped up all the Mother's Day activities. I hope you guys had a good Mother's Day. And anybody in my family, anybody important to me, significant women in my life, if I did forget to wish you a happy Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day. It's Tuesday right now, and I'm still sending Mother's Day because I still forgot to send certain people, Mother's Day. Now, with that being said, let's keep the same energy when it comes to Father's Day. Now, y'all probably ask me, do I have a kid? Why would you be saying that about Father's Day? Because I am a father to a pooch that got sprayed by a skunk last week. So obviously, you guys might not want to wish me a happy Father's Day because I don't think I'm doing that good of a job, apparently. But all in all, hopefully you guys got your mom something. She deserves it. I know everybody doesn't necessarily have the best relationship maybe with their dad or their mom or whatever the case may be. But if you are on speaking terms with your mom, make sure you send her a happy Mother's Day. Now, by the time this drops on Thursday, it'll be a couple days past Mother's Day, but it's okay. You can still wish her a happy Mother's Day, and they'll still be appreciative. There's no cap on like when you can wish somebody a happy Mother's Day. You know what I mean? It might be a cap on somebody's like birthday, maybe. I don't know. I don't think it really matters. If you're gonna be mad about somebody not wishing you a happy Mother's Day or like a happy birthday, but like they do it like 2 weeks later, or like a week later, hey, they still said it. It's a lot of people that just forgot and didn't say anything, right? Moving on, because I don't want to talk too much about that. But what I will say is we will get started on the main topic stuff, yada yada yada, boom boom boom. Now, since we last been here, we definitely talk about the Ryan Garcia situation. Now it's still kind of up in the air if he cheated or he didn't cheat. It turns out that he did test positive for having what's called ostarine in his system, which is almost like a dietary supplement that would help him with weight loss when it came to the fight. Which I don't really see why that would even be in the system because he came in that weigh-ins and he was 3 pounds over. Now I don't want to stay on this topic too long because this fight happened almost 3 weeks ago. But I hope they get to the bottom of this because one thing I will say, I think Devin Haney should have waited until all this stuff came out before he was just like, oh yeah, like I knew he was on something. Because if it turns out that he wasn't, and then Garcia just beat the brakes off you, you kind of hold that L. But Devin Haney, he didn't lose any belts from that fight, so I don't think it's really that big of a deal. It's just maybe just because of his ego and how Ryan was handling the situation. It seemed like Ryan did not care at all. He dancing, he rapping off beat, he rapping off beat, he making the beat off beat. Everything was just off beat, and then he still came out there and put the paws on you, killed you with about 30 left hooks, and you did nothing about it but hit the canvas. But I'm not gonna spend too much time on that. I just wanted to bring that up because I know I did talk about that on the podcast, and I just wanted to bring that back full circle, even though it's not all the way figured out because they're still doing testing. Ryan might lose his license. Whole bunch of stuff's been going on, but as more of the stuff unfolds, we'll see what's going on. With me, like I said, I'm not the biggest boxing fan, but I don't think I'm a casual. I'm a little bit, more than whatever a casual would be. That's why I find this, so interesting. The fact that, cheating, like they don't respect cheating when it comes to, like football or basketball or baseball or whatever the case may be. So when you're talking about like combat sports, you cheating, it's like a whole different ball game. You know what I mean? Because somebody's coming in with like unnatural strength that they wouldn't naturally have. They have, an unfair advantage, right? So that's why I just wanted to kind of talk about that briefly. I don't know. Stuff happens. We'll talk about it more or not. Whatever. I don't know how I'm feeling. But I saw this. This was funny as hell too. Glenn, I shouldn't smile when I say this part. Glenn Big Baby Davis, he was sentenced to 40 months in prison for medical fraud. Now, from the reaction from Glenn Davis, he's from Baton Rouge, so he really didn't have a care in the world. If you from Baton Rouge, like you probably just gonna do some jail time just because it's so crazy down there with all the voodoo and all that stuff going on. Like Baton Rouge is just a crazy place to be in. But it was just crazy the fact that an NBA player is going to be going to jail for 40 months for medical fraud. Now, I'm not okay. Nobody likes to be scammed, right? We can all agree that nobody likes to be scammed. But I do have to give just a tad bit of pushback just because of the simple fact it is the medical field. Now, the medical field is so expensive, especially if you don't have insurance. Trust me, it is expensive. I don't want to be like the Canadians or anything like that, but the Canadians got free health care service, right? Dental and all that stuff. Why can Canada do it, but we can't do it? But this is supposed to be the greatest country. Is Canada the greatest country because they got free medical and free dental? I don't know. They might be in the running. If they not first, they a close second for sure. Because like I said, the medical field is expensive. And I think the medical field in itself is a scam, right? Because like think about it. I don't want to put nothing on me. Just say somebody, I don't know, random in the world, broke their leg or something like that. They got to go to the hospital, but they can't afford it. They're not going to do whatever is needed to actually get that done just because you don't got medical. There's some hospitals that won't do anything with you because you don't have medical, right? Which is kind of cold, right? So it's like, you think about the medical fraud, like, oh, why would somebody scam the system? But yada, yada, yada. But like, you got to look at the other side of things as well. Is like, if you actually need medical help or dental help or whatever the case is as regarding the medical field and you can't afford it, there's really not a lot of options for you to have. Like obviously it's programs and stuff like that you can get, but like at the end of the day, it's like that's not free money. You're gonna have to pay that back regardless, right? So it's definitely like a weird little catch-22, because like you want to be thankful for the medical field, but like understand like the medical field and all that stuff, it's kind of like a scam in itself, just because like, okay, boom. Where is somebody supposed to go if something else is messing with it? If they just stay at home and they try to treat themselves, it's gonna get worse for them. But if they go to the hospital and they can't actually treat at the hospital, and you can't afford to treat at the hospital. Like, what's the middle, right? We gotta get like Canada. Even if it's not like free medical for everybody, it should be like certain things where it's like, okay, regardless if you can pay it or not, like the country or the state or whatever should take care of that. Now, some of y'all don't look at me like that. I'm not looking. It's not like no government assistance, no Section 8 type stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like it's medical. If you say you care about the people and the people that live in this country, then we should care about getting medical help for the people that don't actually have medical. I say all that to say, I don't agree with what Big Baby Davis did. As a former, NBA player, you would think that he would have that money saved up. Like pretty much what he was doing. I'll just get like a little bit into the details. He was just saying he was required to get like all this like dental work and stuff like that, and then he wasn't actually even going or didn't need it and would just write it off and then would just be reimbursed for that money. Now it really doesn't sound like a scam, but if you're saying that you're paying for something because he played in the NBA. You got your little retiree package. They pay for medical stuff under a certain amount, right? Now the problem with his like he was trying to get like veneers and all this other stuff, which they didn't approve. So that's really why he got caught in the first place. Now where he lives at was in Vegas. The place that he was getting these saying that he was getting this work done for the medical or the dental or whatever the case may be was in Cali, but in Beverly Hills. So it's kind of not matching up. It's like, okay, you got money, you can just go there. But it's like, as somebody who played in the NBA who probably has like access to, the best doctor or whatever the case may be, you would assume that he would have just found someplace in Vegas. But big baby, big boy, got a little big greedy, and he's gonna have to do some jail time. But like I said, he doesn't seem worried about it. Even a video that he had talked about, only thing he was worried about was like not being able to choke his chicken in the cell in privacy or something like that. Not having like, I was like, man, this dude really don't care. But like I say, he's from Baton Rouge, and like I said, his name is Big Baby Glenn Davis. Like he not gonna have no problems when he comes to prison because most people are gonna know him anyways, and even if they don't know him, they gonna get real familiar with him because he's a big body anyways. So I don't know. Good luck to him. 40 months. I won't wish jail on nobody. You know what I mean? I got a homie in jail right now. Hopefully, he gets out soon. But I mean, big baby days, you gotta lay in the bed that you made. You make decisions like that. Um, you got to deal with it. I don't know what else to say. It's kind of hard to feel bad for somebody who's making millions of dollars or whatever the case may be in league, and now you are doing fraud. I know people that do fraud. Well, I don't want to say I know people, but it's people online who obviously do fraud, and they aren't professional players, and you can kind of see what I'm getting at, right? But teacher's own. Hopefully he gets that all figured out. But in other sports news, Reggie Bush got his Heisman back, which was dope because I mean he was part of that system back then before like the NILs and all that stuff came in, where you can actually they're getting paid under the table. Now they're legally getting paid, but back then they weren't getting paid, and a lot of people were getting paid under the table, but a lot of people weren't that good to the fact that it really affected them. Now they end up taking Reggie's Heisman like some years. It's been a while since they took Reggie Bush's Heisman. I remember they took Troy Smith, Ohio State player quarterback, if y'all know. But they take Cuz as well because him and Soror actually dealt with that as well too. But like they're getting free tattoos and stuff like that, and free money from just fans signing autographs, stuff like that. But back then it wasn't okay. But the college game has definitely evolved when it comes to that. Now they got the NIL, they have a way to make means for itself, which is actually odd because now they have NILs. How they weren't willing to give Reggie Bush his Heisman back. Now, whatever. Reggie Bush, a dog, he should have been had his Heisman back. And the thing is, when they stripped him of his Heisman, they stripped all his stats as far as like the NCAA records and stuff like that. So it's like you go to USC, it's really no like remembrance of Reggie Bush, anything like that, which is cool because anybody who follows college football, at all, there's no way you're not going to put Reggie Bush in the top three or even top five greatest college football players to ever play. Now another top grade that you can say, Johnny Manziel. Now, Johnny Manziel was very vocal, and he's been very vocal in the situation of Reggie Bush not having his Heisman's. And he went on Shannon Sharp. It was probably like 2 or 3 months ago. He went on Club Shay Shay, and he spoke about it as well. And he constantly kept talking about it even before he went on there, and continued to address it. Now, y'all can say what you want about Johnny Manziel. I'm still a Johnny Manziel stan, even though he came to Cleveland, he did that bull, whatever. Not watch film, he wasn't focused, whatever. I can forgive him because he's still a great athlete. You know what I mean? We all go through our things, we just don't go through it on a big stage like that. But I respect Johnny Manziel for even pulling from as much as he did because he didn't have to, but he really put his foot in the sand because as your Heisman, when you're alumni, when they have the ceremonies, you come back and it's like a whole little thing. It's a cool little party whatever. But Johnny Manziel was refusing to go. He didn't go. I don't know if he was eligible the other couple years. I think you have to be out of college for a certain amount of time. But for the past 2 years, he did not go until Reggie Bush got his Heisman back. Long and behold, Reggie Bush gets his Heisman back. Now, do we want to give credit to Johnny Manziel? I don't know if you guys will, but I definitely will because, shout out to him because he didn't have to do that. There's a lot of people that wouldn't even speak on the issue or even go as hard as the fact that saying like, yo, I won't be part of the Heisman in any way until you guys give Reggie Bush his Heisman back. And he got his Heisman back and is well deserved. Now, while we're still on football, there's been an interesting debate that has been going on. I don't know where this first honestly came from, but it's here. They've been having the NFL versus NBA debate. Can NBA players play in the NFL and vice versa? Can NFL players play in the NBA? Now, there's been a lot of NBA players speaking on it, a lot of football players speaking on it. I don't care what they're talking about. I'm gonna give y'all my opinion personally. I think that most, if not all, okay, I don't want to say most, not all. I want to say like a percentile. I would say like 75% of the NFL could definitely play in the NBA. And by switch those numbers around, I would say only about 25 to 30% of the NBA players can play in the NFL. Now, why do I say that? Obviously, the physicality is a lot different now. Basketball is a little more skillful, people would say, but you still got to have a good football IQ to be able to play football. If you're an athlete, you'll definitely be able to get by with stuff. But at the end of the day, it comes down to technique. Now, some of the most athletic people I've ever seen, as far as athleticism goes, it's definitely football players, bro. I don't think y'all ever seen Tyreek Hill. Okay, Tyreek Hill, he's about 100, I don't know, like 180 pounds, 190 pounds, whatever the case may be. He can do a full backflip and pass, which is about 25 pounds out of weight, right? Now, I don't think that should have you lean to one side or the other, but I think that should speak volumes. You know what I mean? But it's a reason, like they say, like, it's a lot of people, even when they're younger, it's a drill, the Oklahoma drill or hamburgers, whatever you like to call them. But that drill turned a lot of football players into basketball players. So that's kind of the angle that I'm taking on that. There's a lot of guys even in high school that I played with. They probably played football when were younger or basketball when they're younger. When they got to high school, the big dogs, a little bit stronger, a little bit faster. People are not playing anymore. Now, I don't know. I just want I don't want to end it at that, but that's like pretty much my main talk about it. I think that most NFL players can definitely play in the NBA, and I can't say the same the other way around. Now, obviously, you have your freaks like Zion, LeBron, those guys and like I said 25 to 30% of the NBA I think could actually play in the NFL, but I think it's about 75% of NFL players can play in the NBA. Now, what I will say is football players are definitely more aggressive. Obviously, if you ever gone to like the YMCA or any like open gym like that, you can tell the football players that are playing basketball. They so aggressive. Everything is just strong, brute force, everything. Every football player that played basketball like a YMCA, they all got a mean shoulder check. You know what I mean? Because that's how they get their bread and butter. Being physical. But I don't know. I stand by what I say. But just to put the end to this conversation, um, I think most NFL players can play in the NBA, but the majority of NBA players can't play in the NFL. Do what y'all want with that information. Just an interesting topic that's been going on for a while, and I don't even know how that topic even started, but I think it's always kind of been a conversation. But most of the guys that you see in the NBA, most of them played football when they're in high school. Like there's a kid, Jalen Sugg, he played for Orlando, but he was a 5 star. He's a 5 star football recruit and a 5 star basketball recruit. What do you end up doing? Basketball. Do what you want with that information. Basketball, I mean, it's inside. You don't have to deal with so many like elements, rain, snow, stuff like that, pads, all that stuff. It's a lot of reasons I feel like people would want to play basketball instead of playing football. But the real dogs is out there on that football field. Ah, now, before we wrap this up, I thought I was going to go a little longer than that. But in other sports news, Alonzo Ball dropped his first episode of his podcast. Now, I did not watch yet, but by the cast, I can already tell it's going to be fire because Alonzo has people around him that he actually truly grew up with and he has love for. Now, he has his brother, Jello, on the podcast. Mello will obviously make a guest appearance eventually. His road manager, assistant manager, whatever you want to call it, just his day one. Demo is on the podcast as well as their childhood friend Ant is going to be on the podcast. Now, me, I was a big Ball in the Family fan. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely going to be locked into this podcast, and I'm definitely glad we're definitely in the definitely. I gotta find another word to use instead of definitely, but we are most certainly in the golden ages as far as the podcast goes because now you can actually hear your athletes talk about certain things. Like back then, you didn't really have that. You have an interview here, but like they weren't even doing podcasts. But podcasts are so prevalent now that everybody's pretty much doing a podcast. Now, I don't think that's saturating the market because at the end of the day, like you're gonna listen to who you listen to. Now, I'm gonna be listening to them, and there's gonna be some people that listen to me. That's just how it goes. Obviously, he has a bigger reach and more people are gonna watch it. But I also have my little crowd as well. It's room for everybody in the game. It's not a famine mentality where it's like, oh, it's only this person at a time, it's only this person at a time. Man, you can all do it because you'd be surprised how many people would actually be engaged with what you got going on. But I think this will be dope. This probably I haven't watched the episode yet, but this will probably be my favorite podcast. Top three, top five, whatever you want to put it, going forward. But if any of you guys are stands like I am, there's that information for you. Um, ah, that's yeah. I'll touch on this real quick before I do that. No, I gotta check my. Oh we Gucci man, Gucci. Oh we big Gucci. Hold on, y'all. I thought we was running out of time. We got a solid 10 minutes left, and then we're gonna go ahead and get out of here, y'all. Now, one thing I haven't been talking about. This would be a good translate. We're talking about podcast, but whatever. There's a third intruder that broke the Brizzy Break's house. Big Drizzy Drake. Um, Now, it's just because of what's been going on or whatever the case may be. You can speculate, but I mean, he's a high profile guy. Kendrick put, his address, all that stuff on, they not like us, cover art. So I think a lot of that could be playing into that. But I think pretty much I don't think it's a direct correlation, and Drake's definitely not bothered. I don't think he's been in Turks. I saw a funny tweet. They talking about Kendrick swept Drake and sent that boy to Cancun like he was in the NBA or something like that. I don't know. That was pretty funny. But like, I can appreciate a joke like that because I'm not just such a Drake fan. Like I don't find nothing that Kendrick or any of the Kendrick fans saying about Drake funny. Like it's funny. Like I said, I really don't have that much of a dog in the fight. Obviously, I'm thinking Drake won, Kendrick had a good song. Two things can be true. You know what I mean? I don't have to pick us out when I got my beef. I don't see Drake and Kendrick be like, hey, bro, you good? You Exactly. So I'm not going to get into y'all beef as well. Y'all do what y'all want. Y'all rappers, y'all both profiting from this. Numbers are both going up, especially for Kendrick because Kendrick really doesn't drop. Drake got Kendrick to drop. And that's why we're here. But with all this going on with the Drake and beef, one person that we got to give a lot of credit to, well, I'm gonna give credit to, is shout out to Academics for his coverage on the beef with Drake and Kendrick. A lot of people try to write Academics off because like he's not a street dude or whatever the case may be, but he's very good at his job. You know what I mean? He's very good at staying up to date. Streaming 6-8 hours to keep us updated with everything that's going on. So we got to give a big shout out to Academics. And for me, I think a lot of the street guys or so-called street guys don't like Academics because his whole relationship with 6ix9ine and how he chooses to cover certain artists and just be as bold as he want and nobody can do anything about it. Which I'm not gonna give him no flack for that because at the end of the day, it's like, okay, he's friends with 6ix9ine. But I feel him on that because it's like not being friends with 6ix9ine, but it's like, bro, if you treat me good, like if you a good friend to me, I don't care how other people view you. And I think that's something that Academics was going through. Like he actually rocks with, Daniel Hernandez, aka 6ix9ine, and they actually got a good relationship and people don't like him for that. It is what it is. But another thing when it comes to Academics, shout out to the new media because he definitely paved that wave. This whole narrative that like people got to be scared of these rappers and stuff like that. That's why I fall in line when it comes to Academic because I can definitely agree with them. Because I'm gonna give you all a story, right? Now I had a little situation with a so-called rapper. I think he's supposed to be a rapper, whatever the case may be. We got some smoke back in the day, yada yada yada. But I think he like in jail or something like that. We supposed to have a ones, but I couldn't get no one. But whatever. Let me just get into the story, right? So had this issue with his so-called rapper, whatever the case may be. And the same problem that Academics has when he has with these rappers, he's always like, oh, we gonna get you. Like, oh, you somebody give me his address, somebody give me his address. And I feel for that because like, okay, this problem I have with this rapper is a problem that me and him have personally. We can link up, we can throw him, we can get it over. You feel me? So whatever the case may be, kind of just sending subliminals here and there. So I'm not even type to do it on social media. I text his phone like, yo, like we can get the ones, like we just get it out of the way, no extra stuff. He called me like, yeah, where you at? Come, man, pull up. We all out here. How did me and you turn into a we thing? Like I don't get that, and that's what the thing with these rappers. They got to keep this persona and all this other stuff. Like I think the most manly thing we do. Look, me and you got a problem. Me and you handle it. I don't got no problems with them or any of them. It's just me and you that got a problem, and you trying to get other people involved. You know what I mean? And that's why I stick with Academics when it comes to stuff because honestly, man, that whole era of being scared of these rappers and stuff like that, man, it's over, bro. Like all that stuff is over. Like all that fake tough persona, all that stuff. How y'all be saying what? Stand on business. That's not standing on business. How you gonna stand on business with 10 other people? It ain't that much business to stand on, right? But I was saying all to say, shout out to Act for really paving this way because I think a lot of people in media are following suit as well, not to be scared of these rappers. Now it's like, why would I throw myself in that conversation? Like I said, I just brought up that story about it as well because I don't like the over tough, like I'm gangster, like I post, Blicks online and stuff like that. Like that's corny. You know what I mean? That's just me personally, because like it's like you just trying to scare people. You know what I mean? You don't be like, okay, I'll scare people and like they don't have to deal with me. Like if you got a problem with me, I still want to see. I don't care what you post, none of that. Like we got an issue, like we can definitely get them on. But it's like I'm also not like going out of my way. But it's like if you feel some type of way, we can have a conversation. You know what I mean? But shout out to academics. Not like I said, it definitely paved the way. Because at the end of the day, it's like it's just media. Like we just reporting on stuff. Like these rappers will post something like, "Yeah, I just shot this dude and yada yada yada," and then they put it in a song, and the academics will post it and they be like, "Oh, you snitching, huh?" I'm trying to figure out how that's snitching, but okay, like I said, I'm not a rapper, so I don't get how it is, like how to keep this persona up, and y'all gotta, move a certain way and make sure stuff comes out the right way. Like, man, it is corny. You're gonna end up in dead or you gonna end up in jail. And one of the rappers I got beef with, he's in jail. So this is definitely a fact. This definitely happens. But I don't want to make this a whole point about, shitting on rappers. I just gotta call them like it is, and that's why, the people in the new media definitely respect academics as far as that goes, because I mean obviously it's entertaining a lot of stuff, and a lot of times like he won't have anything to go off of if you don't give him anything to go off of, and you guys are giving him stuff to go off of, so he just using that information. Does that make sense? I don't know, whatever. But we're about at the end of this. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to tell you. One thing, real quick before I get out of here and I send you guys off. I got to get my wisdom teeth out next Tuesday. Um, like I said, obviously this is my recording day, so obviously it'll be a little hard to record on Tuesday when I got my wisdom teeth. So you guys already know what I'm about to say. Psych. We still doing the podcast next week. I'm just gonna drop it early. I'm just gonna cram it in. Sure, I might just no, I'm lying. I ain't gonna record tonight because it's already kind of getting late. But don't worry. I'm definitely still gonna have a podcast dropping next week, even with me getting my wisdom teeth out. And I ain't gonna lie, like me, like I like to watch stuff on YouTube, and I never got my wisdom teeth out. I don't know if you guys got your wisdom teeth out, but I thought like it was like a 2 week process. I'm gonna be out. She told me I'm only gonna be out like 3-4 days, whatever the case may be. I'm like, oh, like really? That's not bad. So I go online and I start watching, YouTube videos on how wisdom teeth, how it's actually done. Whole time I'm thinking they take one of them things like how you would naturally pull a tooth. I never got a tooth pulled before, but like I seen like I don't know, maybe like in movies or something like that, but they actually like pull the tooth out with like the little, I won't say pliers, but like it's a medical tool that they use. Man, the thing that I watched, I couldn't even watch it anymore. Like that's how gruesome it was. Like they literally cut under your gun, they'll cut the tooth in half, break it up, and then they'll put. Oh Lord! So pray for your boy. I gotta get my wisdom teeth out. Oh, it's been hurting. Oh, but whatever. Like I said, even though I'm getting my wisdom teeth pulled out next week, I'm still going to deliver some content for y'all. I'm just going to be working overtime this weekend. I got my other niece's baby shower this Sunday. I got playoffs for football this Sunday. I got my brother's birthday on Sunday, and I got my cousin's birthday on Sunday. So I have a very, very busy week, but I promise I'm not going to forget about y'all. If you haven't done it yet, let me get a like, comment, or subscribe. This has been another episode of the We Here Now podcast. If it's your first time here, I appreciate y'all. I hope you come back. If you are a recurring visitor, like I know some of y'all are, because the fan base is growing. I don't want to say fan base, supporters. Shout out to y'all. We locked in. It's been another episode of the We Here Now podcast. I'm out of here. Yes, sure. Sheesh.